It's just a rash, Emma. Stop being so dramatic. My stepsister Vanessa's voice dripped with fake concern as I clutched my burning face in the bathroom mirror. The skin around my eyes and cheeks was already starting to blister, angry red patches spreading across my once clear complexion. My name is Emma Collins, and at 24, I never imagined I'd be fighting for my face because of someone I was supposed to call family. The morning had started normally enough. I was preparing for an important client presentation at the advertising firm where I'd recently been promoted to junior executive. My makeup bag was sitting on the bathroom counter as usual, but something felt off when I applied my moisturizer. The burning started immediately. At first, it was just a slight tingle, then a sting, and within minutes it felt like my face was on fire. That's when Vanessa appeared in the doorway, foam in hand, barely concealing her smirk. "Maybe you're just allergic to the new cream I bought you," she said, recording my reaction. I was trying to be nice, getting you expensive skincare for once. But I knew better. At 22, Vanessa had always resented me, especially since I'd landed my dream job while she struggled to hold down basic retail positions. Our parents' marriage 3 years ago had forced us to become roommates in our family home. A situation that grew more tense with each passing day. "What did you put in my moisturizer, Vanessa?" I demanded, my voice shaking as the pain intensified. She just rolled her eyes, still filming. "God, you're such a baby. It's just some new Korean beauty product. Not my fault if your skin's too sensitive for actual skincare." The next few hours were a blur. The burning wouldn't stop, and my face began to swell. My mother, always quick to keep the peace, suggested it might be an allergic reaction. My stepdad, Vanessa's father, barely looked up from his newspaper when I showed him the damage. "Girls will be girls," he muttered. "Vanessa was just trying to help you with your skincare routine." But my best friend and coworker, Lily, took one look at my face during our video call and called 911. By the time I reached the emergency room, the blisters had spread to my neck, and my eyes were nearly swollen shut. "This is no allergic reaction," Dr. Martinez said firmly, examining my ravaged skin under bright lights. "These are chemical burns. We need to know exactly what was in that cream to treat you properly." When the police arrived at the hospital to take my statement, Vanessa's smug facade finally cracked. She followed us to the hospital, still insisting it was just a misunderstanding, but Officer Sarah Torres wasn't buying it. "Miss, we'll need that container for analysis," Officer Torres said, her voice stern. "Chemical attacks are a serious offense." "Chemical attacks?" Vanessa scoffed, but I noticed her hands trembling. It was just a prank. Emma's always been jealous of me. She's probably doing this for attention. My parents arrived shortly after, my mother in tears and my stepdad looking uncomfortable. "This is all a big misunderstanding," he insisted. "Vanessa would never intentionally hurt Emma. They're sisters." "Stepsisters," I corrected through gritted teeth, as another wave of pain washed over my face. The medical team had started treatment, but without knowing exactly what chemicals were involved, they were limited in what they could do. That's when Lily arrived at the hospital, carrying my laptop bag. "Emma, you need to see this," she said, her face pale. "I checked the security camera feed from the hallway outside your bathroom." My heart stopped. The security cameras. In my pain and panic, I'd completely forgotten about the small camera I'd installed 6 months ago after several items went missing from my room. Vanessa had called me paranoid, but I'd noticed things disappearing shortly after she moved in. Jewelry, money, expensive makeup. Officer Torres took the laptop, and we all watched in horror as the footage showed Vanessa entering my bathroom at 3 a.m., carefully opening my moisturizer and mixing something into it from a small dark bottle. She was smiling the entire time. "It's still just a prank," Vanessa insisted, but her voice was small now, her earlier confidence evaporating. "I just wanted to teach her a lesson about being so perfect all the time." The lab results came back that evening, and the room fell silent as Dr. Martinez read them. My moisturizer had been mixed with a powerful drain-cleaning chemical, one that could have caused permanent disfigurement or even blindness if it had gotten into my eyes. "This was no prank," Officer Torres said, turning to Vanessa. "This was attempted assault with a chemical agent. You're under arrest." As they led Vanessa away in handcuffs, she screamed back at me, "It's not fair. You always get everything. The job, the praise, the perfect life. I just wanted to see you struggle for once." My mother collapsed into a chair, sobbing, while my stepdad finally looked shaken. But this was just the beginning. What the investigation would uncover about Vanessa's pranks would shock even the most hardened detectives. The next few weeks were a nightmare of hospital visits and police interviews. My face was healing slowly, leaving patches of discolored skin that the doctors hoped would fade with time. But the investigation into Vanessa was revealing something far more disturbing than a single act of jealousy. Detective Torres had obtained a warrant to search Vanessa's room, and what they found made my blood run cold. Hidden in a false bottom of her jewelry box was a small diary, its pages filled with detailed plans and what appeared to be a twisted scoring system. Each entry describes different pranks she planned for you, Detective Torres explained, showing me the evidence photos. She assigned points based on how much damage they would cause. The facial burning was worth 50 points. My hands trembled as I read through the entries. Missing earrings that had accidentally been thrown away, 5 points. Sugar in my car's gas tank that fortunately was discovered during routine maintenance, 20 points. Cutting the brake lines on my bicycle last summer, which I luckily noticed before riding, 30 points. There's more, Detective Torres said grimly. We found a hidden folder on her laptop. She's been part of an online forum where people share ideas for revenge pranks. Some of these people have actually caused serious injuries to their targets. The forum messages were horrifying. Vanessa had been posting under the username Perfect Sister Slayer, sharing her plans and getting encouragement from others. She'd even bragged about her successful pranks, posting pictures of my damaged belongings as trophies. My mother was devastated when she saw the evidence. I thought she was just going through a phase, she sobbed. All those times you said things were missing or broken, I should have listened. My stepdad's reaction was different. After years of defending Vanessa's behavior, he finally broke down during a police interview. She's been like this since her mother died, he admitted. I thought if I just loved her enough, supported her no matter what, she'd get better. Instead, I enabled her. But the most shocking discovery came when the police interviewed Vanessa's former roommates from college. She had 3 different roommates in one semester, all of whom had left suddenly citing personal reasons. The detective's investigation revealed that each girl had experienced mysterious accidents or illnesses while living with Vanessa. One girl was hospitalized after drinking from a water bottle that contained trace amounts of cleaning fluid, Detective Torres told me. Another suffered severe food poisoning that was never explained. They all suspected Vanessa, but couldn't prove anything. The college had quietly asked Vanessa to leave, which explained why she'd moved back home. She told everyone she was taking a break to find herself, but in reality, she'd been forced out due to safety concerns. During her interrogation, Vanessa finally cracked. It's not fair, she repeated, her calm facade crumbling. Emma gets everything handed to her. Perfect grades, perfect job, perfect face. Everyone loves Emma. No one even remembers I exist when she's around. So you decided to destroy her face? Detective Torres pressed. I just wanted her to know what it feels like to be invisible, Vanessa spat. To have people look away when they see you. She needed to learn that life isn't always perfect. The psychological evaluation that followed painted a disturbing picture. The therapist diagnosed Vanessa with severe personality disorders, noting her lack of empathy and obsession with perceived slights. Her mother's death when she was 12 had triggered a deep-seated need for control and attention, manifesting in increasingly dangerous behavior. My parents' marriage had apparently been the breaking point. Suddenly having a stepsister who was successful and well-liked had pushed Vanessa over the edge. Each of my achievements became, in her mind, a personal attack on her worth. The district attorney was preparing to file multiple charges, including assault with a caustic substance and attempted bodily harm. The evidence from previous incidents would demonstrate a pattern of escalating violence. One evening, as I sat with Lily reviewing the case files, she discovered something chilling in Vanessa's diary. The facial burning wasn't meant to be the end, it was just a test run. She had been planning something much worse for my upcoming business trip. She was going to tamper with your hotel room, Lily said, her voice shaking as she read the entry. The point system went up to 100, and that was going to be her masterpiece. I felt sick realizing how close I'd come to something even worse. If the facial burning hadn't exposed her, what might have happened during that trip? As my face slowly healed, leaving faint scars that makeup could mostly cover, I couldn't help but wonder how things might have been different if someone had noticed Vanessa's issues sooner. But I also knew that wondering wouldn't change anything. The police had uncovered her true nature, and now she would finally face consequences for her actions. The preliminary hearing was scheduled for next week, and the evidence against her was overwhelming. But something told me this wasn't over yet. Vanessa had one final card to play, and I had a feeling it would be her most desperate move yet. The morning of the preliminary hearing, I woke up to dozens of missed calls from my mother. Vanessa had attempted suicide in her cell overnight, or at least, that's what she wanted everyone to believe. She's claiming it's all her medication, my mother sobbed over the phone. She says she wasn't in her right mind when she hurt you, that she needs help, not punishment. The guard who found her said she had barely scratched her wrists, making sure to do just enough damage to get transferred to the psychiatric ward, but not enough to cause any real harm. It was another manipulation, another performance in her endless quest for attention and sympathy. But this time, her plan backfired spectacularly. The psychiatric evaluation that followed her attempt was far more thorough than the initial assessment. Dr. Harrison, the forensic psychiatrist, spent hours interviewing Vanessa, digging deep into her history of calculated cruelty. Your stepsister displays classic signs of malignant narcissism, she explained to me during a consultation. The suicide attempt was classic manipulation. She expected it would soften the charges, gain sympathy from the court. Instead, it's given us clear evidence of her manipulative patterns. The trial began 3 weeks later. I sat in the courtroom, watching as Vanessa played her final role, the troubled young woman who just needed understanding and forgiveness. She'd even convinced my stepdad to mortgage his house for her high-powered defense attorney. But the evidence was overwhelming. The prosecution presented the diary, the forum posts, the security footage. Former roommates testified about their mysterious illnesses. Even her college dean appeared, revealing the full story of why she'd been asked to leave. Then came the most damaging testimony, her own words from the psychiatric evaluation. Miss Stevens, the prosecutor addressed her, you told Dr. Harrison, and I quote, Emma needed to learn that beauty isn't permanent. I wanted her to feel ugly, to know what it's like when people stare for the wrong reasons. Do those sound like the words of someone who wasn't in their right mind? Vanessa's carefully constructed facade finally cracked. You don't understand, she screamed, jumping up from her seat. She took everything from me. My father's attention, my mother's memory, my place in the family. She deserved what she got. The courtroom fell silent. Her defense attorney closed his eyes in defeat. My mother started crying softly, but I sat there, straight-backed and strong, letting Vanessa's true nature reveal itself to everyone. The jury took less than 2 hours to reach a verdict. Guilty on all counts. The judge, citing the premeditated nature of the attacks and the psychiatric evaluation, sentenced her to 8 years in prison with mandatory psychiatric treatment. The court cannot ignore the calculated cruelty of your actions, the judge stated firmly. This was not a prank, not a cry for help, but a deliberate campaign of escalating violence that could have resulted in permanent disfigurement or death. As they led Vanessa away, she turned to me one last time. I hope those scars never fade, she spat. I hope you see me every time you look in the mirror. I stood up, looking her directly in the eyes. The only thing I see when I look in the mirror is a survivor, and the only person you've permanently marked is yourself. The aftermath of the trial brought unexpected changes. My stepdad, finally facing the truth about his daughter, filed for divorce. He couldn't bear the guilt of having enabled her behavior for so long. My mother, though heartbroken, seemed relieved. My face healed better than the doctors expected. The scars faded to faint silver lines, barely visible except in certain lights. But I chose not to have them removed completely. They were my reminder of survival, of the strength I found when I needed it most. 6 months after the trial, I received a letter from one of Vanessa's former roommates, Katie. She was starting a support group for victims of hidden abuse, inspired by our case. Your story helped me realize I wasn't crazy, she wrote. What happened to me was real, and I wasn't alone. I joined their first meeting as a speaker, sharing my story with others who understood the particular pain of being gaslit and abused by someone who claimed to be family. Together, we turned our experiences into strength, helping others recognize the warning signs we'd missed. The security camera I'd installed, initially a response to petty theft, had saved me from something far worse. Now, I work with domestic abuse organizations, helping them set up security systems for people who feel unsafe in their own homes. Vanessa's diary, with its chilling points system, became part of a training program for law enforcement, helping them recognize the difference between pranks and premeditated abuse. Her case set a precedent for how similar crimes would be prosecuted. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about Vanessa's final words to me in the courtroom. She had hoped to mark me permanently, to make me see her every time I looked in the mirror. Instead, she taught me to see my own strength, my resilience, and my ability to turn pain into purpose. The scars on my face have faded, but the lessons remain. Trust your instincts, document everything, and never let anyone convince you that abuse is just a prank. Sometimes the most dangerous monsters are the ones who call themselves family.